tees off. Goodbye. Deep into the bleachers. Holy smokes, Reynolds says, take that. Wow. Everybody moves on the 3-2 pitch. Giambi with a line drive center field. Base hit. Scoring is Cabrera. Scoring is Swisher. And Jason Giambi with a 2-out, 2-run single makes it a 6-2 Indians advantage. The Indians look to stay red hot tonight against the Oakland A's. Tribe winners in 7 of their last 8, 10 of their last 14. It's game 2 of a 4-game series between the Tribe and the Oakland A's. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Remember back during the 1990s, that popular advertising campaign, Chicks Dig the Long Ball?
Absolutely.
Well, Nike might want to go dig up the next Heather Locklear and bring her to Progressive Field, because this Indians club is on pace to shatter the franchise all-time record in home runs in a single season.
Well, they've had 2 good innings. They've hit 10 in the first inning. They've hit 11 in the 5th inning. Last night, Kipnis connects with another one. Cabrera goes deep twice, but the leader of the long ball, it makes a different sound off this guy's bat. Mark Reynolds, after he was drilled in the first inning, he went way deep last night. He has 10 on the year, leads the league in home runs, and the Indians as a team lead the league. 15 home runs on the homestand, 44 this year, and you can see 2 home runs in an inning 6 times, but 4 times they've hit 4 or more in a game. Nobody has done that this year.
Franchise record 221. That was done back in 2000. This club's on pace to hit 245 during the year. Stay tuned. Indians and the Oakland A's. It's round 2 of their 4-game series, and it's coming up as Zach McAllister takes the hill for the Tribe. See if he can slow down the A's bats and let the Tribe's lumber continue to thunder. Fresh horses and ale for the men for Tonight We Ride. The Indians and the Oakland A's, game 2 of this 4-game series. Zach McAllister on the hill for the Indians. He's heating up. So let's quickly take a look at Bob Melvin's starting 9 for the Athletics of Oakland. John Jaso in the leadoff spot, followed by Seth Smith, then Jed Lowry, a switch hitter. Yoenis Cespedes has scored a run in 8 straight games now for Oakland, followed by Brandon Moss and then Josh Donaldson, Derek Norris, Eric Sogard, and Michael Taylor.
And Zach McAllister making his 6th start this year, coming off a win against the Philadelphia Phillies, where he pitched 7 innings, went 5 hits, a couple of runs, and he was backed by 14 runs. They hit the 7 home runs in that ball game, so that was he picked the right one to pitch on.
All right, so here we go. McAllister winds it up. And we're underway with a fastball in there for strike 1. 58 degrees, our game time temperature. A light breeze blowing straight in from center field. Mostly cloudy skies here in downtown Cleveland. But all in all, another very pleasant evening. Fouled right back by Jaso. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Zach McAllister has made 3 starts in this ballpark this year. Both of his wins have come here. He's 2-1 on an ERA under 3. It's 2.95.
Man, the 1-2 is a little bit outside to even the count. Tribe a game above the break-even mark at 15-14. 3.5 games off the pace in the AL Central. Jaso lifts one to left. Long run for Mike Aviles, who gets the start in left field tonight, and he makes the catch for out number 1. With more on Zach McAllister, here's Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, just within the last couple of weeks, Zach's been working on a new pitch that we haven't seen a whole lot of, and it's evolved from what started as a splitter into a forkball, which is now kind of like a hybrid split changeup that has a lot more backspin on it, making it harder for a hitter to pick up on. He can throw it up to about 84, 85 miles an hour, and what Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, told me is they're hoping it can be Zach's swing and miss pitch.
So it's an evolutionary ball.
Well, and it's to take him off, the fastball. 84 miles an hour.
2 quick outs.
Let's look at the Kia Indians defense behind McAllister tonight. Aviles was in left field, who made the first play. Stubbs is in center, Rayburn in right. Reynolds is at third, Cabrera at short. Kipnis at second. Santana gets the start at first tonight with Yan Gomes behind the plate.
Doug Eddings behind the plate tonight. John Tumpain is at first. Paul Nauert at second. Angel Hernandez, the acting crew chief, is at third. Jed Lowry looks at a first pitch strike. Fouled back. The split finger, obviously it's more like a fastball that has a diving action, but the forkball is almost more like a changeup to begin with.
All depends on the size of your hands as a pitcher. Guys that can throw the splitter have long fingers, and it's comfortable. And sometimes it depends on how far you want to spread them. The forkball, you really got to have long fingers to jam it in there, and it's tougher to control, and I think it puts a little more pressure on your elbow. But they just want him to throw something that backs it off and it goes down and away from a guy to take him off his fastball. I think Corey Kluber would be a great guy to have a pitch like that as well. There it was right there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that looked like that pitch.
And, you have to get confidence throwing that. I mean, you'll be able to watch the grip. Look at, you see how far his fingers are? And it comes down and it has movement going down and away. That's a nice pitch. 84 miles an hour. What it'll do, too, once the hitters see that a couple of times, they'll look for it. He can get inside with his fastball.
Shoots it out of play.
And another pitch he's been working on is that fastball with 2 strikes to left-handers. We may see it right here. He told us the last time we talked to him, we interviewed him, it's a 4-seam fastball that has the movement to come back over the inside part of the plate. Hard to believe, but for him it is a 4-seamer.
There it was, but it was up high. A lot of pitchers throw that, and as you said, usually it's a 2-seamer, and they'll sometimes refer to it as a reverse sinker.
And the breaking ball is hit foul. So Lowry put up a battle here with 2 outs in the first. The switch hitter, 0 for 4 in the series opener last night. Punches it towards center. Drew Stubbs, long run. Runs it down in the gap for out number 3. The long strides of Drew Stubbs takes care of that. The A's go 1-2-3. The Indians coming to bat. No score, bottom of the first inning. Terry Francona's starting lineup is presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your car and home insurance. Drew Stubbs will lead it off, followed by Jason Kipnis, and then is Drupal Cabrera. Nick Swisher in the cleanup spot, followed by Mark Reynolds. Then Carlos Santana hitting 6th. Ryan Rayburn 7th, Mike Aviles 8th, and Jan Gomes is batting 9th.
Left-hander Tommy Malone makes his 7th start. He's been a tale of starters, really. His first 3 starts, he started the year out 3-0. He's pitched the same for all 6 games, but it's just that he has had 22 runs of support for the first 3. He's gotten 3 in his last 3. That's why he's 0-3. So he's 3-3, but he's pitched very well all year long. He averages about 16 pitches per inning and a little over 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's allowed 6 homers, all solo home runs, and all the right-handed batters.
Drew Stubbs looks at ball 1 outside. Drew Stubbs getting the start in the leadoff spot tonight. Michael Brantley getting a day off. And the pitch is outside. Terry Francona very pleased with the job that Stubbs has done, in particular defensive fashion in center field, but also with what he's done at the plate in Michael Bourne's absence.
Yeah, he's been a bonus, really, offensively. They knew he was a good center fielder when they got him. They could go get him with anybody. So that's not a surprise to him, but offensively he's done a nice job. And speaking of Michael Bourne, it shouldn't be long before he comes back.
Drew Stubbs lifts one high in the air to left field. Seth Smith settles under it, makes the catch. Michael Bourne was rained out with the Columbus Clippers last night, but they were hopeful he'd be able to get some game action in tonight.
That A's defense tonight looks like this. Smith in left, Cespedes in center. Taylor gets the start in right. Donaldson at third, Lowry at short, so guarded. Second, Moss is at first, Norris behind the plate.
Our producer Jim Murphy tells me that Michael Bourne in game 1, it's a doubleheader since they were rained out last night. Michael Bourne 1 for 3 with a stolen base and a run scored.
Good.
And he's facing John Danks in that game down there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because Danks is on the rehab trying to get back to Chicago. Okay.
So that's a great sign. I read a quote in the paper, Michael saying in Columbus last night, that finger's still a little bit sore, but he said, I'm hoping you get in the game, you get that adrenaline going, and that just kind of goes away.
Well, and always after you play for the first time, you have to sit and wait and see how it is tomorrow.
True. Pitch has low, 2 balls and a strike. Jason Kipnis 1 for 5 last night with a home run in the first inning. And it was a towering drive into the bleachers and left. Pops this one out of play. On the homestand, Kipnis 8 for 27 with the 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. Both Kipnis and Cabrera have really been swinging the bat well of late, and that has, I think, enabled the rest of this lineup to really hit its stride offensively. Low, full count. Strike 3 called. Doug Eddings rings up Kipnis on a pitch that he thought was ball 4.
Well, we had a low strike zone last night with the umpire. You know, it might have been below the knees.
Oh, yeah.
It's about the same spot as last night. It's the same call that some of these guys were complaining about all night long, but it looks like it's going to go the same way tonight with Doug Eddings behind the plate.
Yeah, I can understand where Jason's saying, "Oh, come on."
Well, your first at bat, you got to go up
Yeah.
there, and you don't know him, and you don't think it's a strike. It's low, and he rings you up. So now, you know, people look at it, and you're going to have to make adjustments.
Now Cabrera, 2 for 4, 2 home runs last night. One ball, 1 strike. Our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Last 9 games, Cabrera red hot. It's about as close as you'll get to hearing Terry Francona say, "I told you so," but he has said, you know, it's only a matter of time before a guy like Cabrera starts heating it up. People were nervous about Cabrera's slow start, but Terry kept saying he's a good player. He'll get there.
I mean, if you can tape it, because whoever slows down next year and starts out slowly, you know, gets off to a slow start, here you go. What's wrong with him? Something's that, and he'll be ready. Give him some time. Relax.
The 2-2, a little bit outside. And for Francona, that's not, you know, some kind of Pollyanna, positive, rah-rah. He's going by track record. When you've got a veteran player who has a number of years under his belt, you know it's in there. You know he'll get to where he's supposed to be. Popped in the air, shallow left center. Cespedes comes in. The center fielder will make the catch. And the Indians go in order. No score after 1. No score, second inning here at Progressive Field for the Oakland A's. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Yoenis Cespedes will lead it off. McAllister attacks. A fastball over the outside corner for strike one. In the dirt. Yoenis Cespedes grew up in Cuba. His dad played in the Cuban League, and he said from the time he was 3 years old, his mom was already taking him to the baseball stadiums to watch games. So it's been in his blood for a long time. One away here in the second inning. Check out our keys to the game tonight. Looking for another quality start, and that's been a real familiar theme as the Indians have played well of late. And you want those right-handed bats to provide some pop against the left-hander, Tommy Malone. Brandon Moss takes a strike.
Well, the Indians this year 7-6 against left-handers. But he can throw a totally different lineup out there where you have, Aviles in left field, giving Brantley a day off. Santana goes from catching to, first base. And you get Gomes in there.
Moss strikes out. Good pitch by Zach McAllister. That's his first K of the night. 2 down here in the second. Get him caught in between. Pitching is all about disrupting the hitter's timing, and you can tell Moss had no timing in that at-bat. 2 down for Josh Donaldson. How many years did we hear, from the Indians coming into the season? We're looking for some guys who can give us some versatility. Well, they've got true versatility on this club this year.
I mean, it's a word you don't like, but you got guys that can play different positions.
It's one thing if you have a guy who doesn't have a true position and you're moving him around. But this is a different story this year.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it. There's veterans that are, not everyday players. You got Rayburn out in right field, who's been playing an awful lot. You got Aviles in left. Those guys should be coming off your bench if all healthy. Oh,
that was behind him.
That was one of the field pitch there. I'm telling you, that got away from him. That one he's working on. Donaldson may think it was not intentional, but it certainly was not. He stares out like it was intentional. It wasn't.
The 1-1. Low and away, missed. 2 balls and a strike. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Good pitch, 2-2.
Check this pitch out on our Nissan pitch tracker. Good breaking ball.
Straight
Good spot,
down.
yeah. Good curveball.
McAllister's 2-2. Same pitch, and this time Donaldson fights it off. See what Jan Gomes wants to go with here. Down on the dirt.
That's the new pitch, that little splitter, or let's call it a changeup. He just depends on how he holds it.
The payoff pitch. Fastball challenged him, fights it off, and we'll do it again. Josh Donaldson, in his last 6 games, is just 4 for 21. Three-two. Again, he gets a piece of it.
He's battling up there. He's falling off some really good pitches.
And this fastball is popped up. Shallow right. Long run for Rayburn. He can't get there, but Kipnis does. Great job by Jason Kipnis to track that ball into shallow right field. And the A's go 1-2-3. Is brought to you by McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Try one today. And by Kia. And we go to the bottom of the second inning with Nick Swisher leading it off for the Tribe. Swisher, Mark Reynolds, and Carlos Santana for the Indians here in the second. Left-hander Tommy Malone delivers inside for ball one. Swisher has swung the bat well from the right side of the plate, going 12 for 36. Breaking ball in for a strike to even it up.
Well, that's Malone. Nothing overpowering. He'll throw that fastball inside, maybe cut it in on you, and the changeup away is his very effective pitch.
Rip foul.
Nice catch by a fan who brought the glove. Nicely done. That was hit hard.
It's a fantasy camper in waiting.
Yes, he is. Watch the leather here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lonnie Leather.
Downstairs with a breaking ball, and it's 2-2. And that's hammered right at the shortstop, Lowry. One down. All right, here's our great clip of the game from last night. Listen. Oh. Wow. Mark Reynolds. One of the longest home runs you'll ever see here at the ballpark. Relax. You're at Great Clips. It's going to be great.
It's different sound to the bat.
Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Indexed. Mark Reynolds, a league-leading 10 home runs. He said afterwards, it's not normally do you get that kind of opportunity when a guy drills you to come back and get a chance to get him, but because he hit him in the first inning, he got that chance. And he also said afterwards, usually when you go up there and you're trying, you can't hit a home run.
Right.
But that time it all came together for him.
You pay dividends. That's exactly what you want to do if he drilled him. He got up, went to first base, and then he had his chance to get him later, and he did.
Swung on and missed. Good fastball elevated, and that's 2 strikeouts for Tommy Milone. 2 down here in the second inning. The longest home run ever hit here at the ballpark in terms of distance against Kansas City's Don Wingert, Jim Thome. Straightaway center, way up. You don't even see it in the camera shot where it hit the side of the bleachers. And then I think it might have left the ballpark on the bounce.
It did.
511 feet that was measured at. Now Carlos Santana with 2 down in the inning.
Santana, another switch hitter that's doing a heck of a job from the right side of the plate.
Lifts one in the air. Out goes the second baseman, Eric Sogard. And the Indians go 1-2-3. 2 complete. No score. No score, third inning. Both sides have gone in order through the first 2 frames. Zach McAllister and Tommy Milone. 6 up, 6 down. Derek Norris to lead off the third for Oakland, the A's catcher. Takes a fastball. Ball 1. I don't know, that looked awfully good. Norris, in his last 12 games, only has 5 hits, 5 for 37, but he has drawn 9 walks. Swings and lifts one to left. Mike Aviles barely has to move. One away. All right, tonight's injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers. For serious injuries, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Benny Pistano on the DL. Retroactive move. Hopefully he'll only miss about 10 days in all on the DL. And then, of course, Marson and Bourne rehabbing. So is Brett Myers. Katie will have some more information on Brett Myers, who's throwing and continuing to get closer to rejoining the club. Eric Sogard, just 3 hits in his last 12 games. And quickly in the hole, 0-2. The ball and 2 strikes.
Upstairs with the fastball. See if he changes the eye level with that change. There it was. Nice pitch.
It'll be a tough play for Cabrera. Off balance throw, and he pulled Santana with it. It'll be an infield base hit for Sogard.
Well, Cabrera had to go to his right on this ball, and he got rid of it quickly. An accurate throw, and it would have been a bang-bang play, but I think he would have had him. But a tough play. It'll go as a base hit. Santana has to come off the bag. Sogard gets the infield single, so the first base runner tonight.
One on, one out now for Michael Taylor. Taylor, a big kid at 6'5". Former highly touted Phillies prospect out of Stanford. 0 for 9 this year in big league opportunities. In 18 games at AAA Sacramento, he was hitting .329. Swung on and missed, but at 6'5", 235 pounds, he's an imposing figure. Over the head of McAllister to Kipnis to Cabrera. Back to first. Double play ends the inning. The Tribe turns 2 after the A's get the first base runner of the game. We are still scoreless, middle of the third. We'll look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Bottom third of the Indians' order coming up here in the home half of the third inning. Ryan Rayburn, Mike Aviles, and Jan Gomes for the Tribe. Tommy Malone on the hill for Oakland tonight. 6 up, 6 down through the first 2. He has struck out a pair. Rayburn looks at a strike.
This is a guy that really bears down when he has runners on base and actually runners in scoring position. Seems like he gets tougher. But the Indians looking for their first base runner tonight.
Malone, another product of USC, Southern Cal. Originally drafted by the Washington Nationals in the 10th round, and then part of the big Gio Gonzalez trade. Three balls and a strike. Rayburn, what a homestand for Ryan. 10 for 21 with 6 runs batted in, couple of homers.
American League Player of the Week.
Yeah. And he smokes it to deep left. Seth Smith will look up. He'll watch it hit in the middle of that fence. Rayburn hustling into second base easily with a leadoff double.
Yeah, double number 6 for Rayburn. He's right there. He got after it. 3-1 pitch. He wasn't going to spot him anything, boy, and hits a bullet. There it is, fastball middle. Rayburn just kept a nice short swing and drilled it off the wall. So a leadoff double. Ryan stays hot. First hit tonight for the Indians.
And now a chance for Mike Aviles to move him along. Well, he shortened a bunt, but he took the pitch. Low, ball 1.
I'd like to see Aviles swing the bat here. Don't move him over. Aviles can handle a bat. He can go the other way. Don't give up an out this early in the ball game.
Taking again. It's inside. Didn't show bunt that time. 2-0.
No, he's just, what he's trying to do is keep him from going the other way, so he's trying to power him inside. Or he's going to try and get him to roll over on the left side. So you may see a 2-0 curveball or something like that off speed to get him to roll over on it. There it was, a changeup. But what a great job of base running by Rayburn, huh?
Sure was.
That goes to show you, if you get a good secondary lead, you can go, if that ball's hit hard like it was, and just behind him. If you get a good jump, watch him. Secondary lead, shuffle, shuffle, go. He read that ball beautifully. He beat him to the spot, and Lowry couldn't do anything with it. He wants to get it out. So that base running ended up getting Aviles to do his job, and he's going to get high fives for doing it.
We had a similar play on the homestand, whereas Drupal Cabrera had a ground ball, almost the exact same situation. He might have had him, but he can't get the line to throw because the runner gets right in the line, and if you throw it and hit the runner, it doesn't do you any good.
It all comes to that read and the jump off the bat with your secondary lead. That was really a good job. Now it gives Gomes an opportunity, to get the Indians on the board because they choose to bring the infield in the third inning.
Jan Gomes hitting in the 9-hole. 4 out of his 7 hits have gone for extra bases, so he has shown some pop. Takes inside. 1-1 to count.
And as I told you, this is where Malone gets tough. When you get runners in scoring position, he doesn't give in. A lot of hitters get geared up for the hard stuff, and he backs off.
Gomes chops it right at the third baseman, Donaldson.
Change up.
2 down. All right, so let's take a look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. Which pitcher had the most 10 or
10 or more
strikeout games? So who Struck out
in the
10 or
50s.
more in the 1950s. Well, the answer coming up later in the game. Here's Drew Stubbs with a runner at third and 2 down. Drew has done a good job, though primarily he has hit in the number 9 hole. He's hit 286 when you get a runner in scoring position. But he's looking for that big 2-out clutch hit. A clutch hit here, and now he's in the hole 0-2. Ryan Rayburn, who doubled to start the inning, he's at third. One-two pitch. Again, it's low. Stubbs able to lay off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, you're right, Arch. I mean, as soon as he gets a runner in scoring position, he goes slow, slower, slowest.
Yeah, and you know what? It's almost like he's not going to throw you a fastball for a strike. He'll use it, to set up another pitch to back you off, to do something very crafty with it. But he's going to attack you with that changeup, and it's the same arm speed. Same arm angle. That was a fastball, and it looked good. That looked like a pretty good pitch there. And then when you're sitting on the changeup, he throws it. It looks like it's 95. I'll tell you what, he got away. Drew Stubbs is getting 4 strikes here.
That looked pretty good. Take advantage of it now.
Yeah.
3-2 pitch. Yeah, it might have been a makeup call, but the inning comes to an end. 3 strikeouts for Tommy Milone. Leadoff double does no damage. Each team has a hit, no runs through 3. No score, 4th inning. Top of the order for the Oakland Athletics. John Jaso to lead it off. That's hit high in the air to left. Mike Aviles. His 3rd put out of the night. 1 away. Mentioned earlier that Katie would have the latest on Brett Myers, and he continues to rehab to try and get back into the Indian starting rotation. Katie, what's the latest?
Well, Matt, he threw 105 feet flat ground pain-free today. He told me the plan is to throw off the mound for the first time Saturday with Lou Marson, then again in the middle of that doubleheader with the Yankees on Monday. If all goes well and he's still pain-free, we could see him in Philadelphia on the road.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Seth Smith, 0 for 1. Takes a look. It's low for ball 1. Smith, a former second-round pick of the Rockies back in 04 out of the University of Mississippi. Ooh, wow. He called that a ball inside. You could hear his call, and that was clearly over the plate.
Well, let's see. There you go. He's missing the fastball. He's sitting on that part of the plate, too.
Another high pop, another routine play for Mike Aviles. He gets the start in left field.
Mike is liking that.
He couldn't ask for anything better than this.
And McAllister will tell him, well, Mike, I know you don't start much out there. I'll make it easy on you. That's the way you want him. Some routine can of corn pop flies.
Well, you heard the latest from Katie on Brett Myers. Vinny Pastano is on the DL for the first time in his career in the big leagues.
I'm just going to, take my time, trying to attack it the way I do everything else, and just, give it a chance to come back better, stronger, and a little more motivated because, being down these past 8 days and then putting 10 more on top of that, it's pretty brutal to sit there and not be a part of it, especially the way this team's playing. I mean, it looks awesome on the TV out there when it's going on. So I just want to get back and contribute and make sure when I do contribute that I'm 100% and at my best.
Well, we want to thank Vinny for watching us.
I was going to say, it means he's paying attention.
I thought it was interesting. It's almost a little bit contradictory there. He says, I'm going to take my time and attack it like I attack everything else. Well, the way we know he attacks everything is 100 miles an hour. So there's, we all know how badly he wants to get back and be in that bullpen, but you do have to be as patient as you can be, I suppose.
That's what he's saying. He wants to pitch because, you don't want to sit out. It's no fun sitting out. It's the first time he's been on the DL, and you know what he's going to find out. He doesn't like it, so you don't want to go back on it again.
3-1 pitch. A little bit high. So McAllister's walked his first. Comes with 2 outs, and they're going to have to deal with Yoenis Cespedes now. Cespedes, mentioned earlier, his mom started taking him to ball games when he was just 3 years old. And it didn't take long for the powers that be in Cuba to recognize the kind of player he was. When he was 11 years old, he was so good that he was picked to be enrolled at a superior school for athletes. It's a government program in Cuba. And he said, I was far away from home. I only got to go home 3 out of every 20 days. He said he'd study in the morning, practice baseball in the afternoon until he was 17 years old.
Well, you can tell he's been around baseball his whole life because he's a terrific player.
Hard hit chopper to short. Cabrera will go to Kipnis for the inning-ending force. Middle of the 4th, still no score.
.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com.
How about that? We've got a silver anniversary
Yes,
in the
we
booth
do.
tonight.
I mean, a guy that's been with us for about 25 years, too. Gary, Debbie, Coach, congratulations. 25 years. The captain's up here.
Wedded bliss.
And she surprised him. Their name was on the scoreboard here in the 4th inning. And
it's the first time I've ever seen him cry.
Yeah, cry, and he turned about as red as his hat.
Yeah.
But our congratulations.
Jason Kipnis, a drive to deep left field off the top of the fence. And Kipnis into second base, the Indians' second consecutive leadoff double. And Jason, who homered over that wall last night, just missed doing it again.
I'm talking about surprising power the other way. I mean, he's driving the ball. Not an easy thing to do. But he got a fastball out over the plate. Didn't try to pull it. This thing just misses going out. He hit one out there last night. Second straight inning with a leadoff double. See if they can take advantage of it this time.
As Dribble Cabrera fly to center his first time up. But he has hit in 3 straight games now. Fouls it right back. Cabrera with an RBI in 6 of his last 8 games. Taking just in off the dish.
That's the setup pitch right there. He'll go back with a changeup away to try and get him to roll over to the left side of the infield. But you have to keep a hitter honest. You cannot continue to throw that pitch even though they may be a little bit out in front. You have to set it up. Will he come back in there again?
Cabrera shot it out of play to the right, and the count is 1-2. Kipnis, who has 6 steals, being bird dogged by Lowry, the shortstop.
Well, he can get off because Lowry's really leaving early.
There's that changeup, but Cabrera lays off 2-2.
But that's the thing. You have to remain as patient as a hitter when you're facing this guy.
Two-two pitch. Popped them up back out of play. Well, the A's fan in the yellow jersey had a shot, but he fumbled it away. Now Dad's going to tell his kids, "No, see, here's how I did that. I waited for it to stop rolling,
for somebody
and I
to
picked
drop
it up."
That's how Bob Uecker used to catch knuckleballs. Wait till it stops rolling and then pick it up.
Malone again with the 2-2 to Cabrera. Kipnis takes off, and they got him.
Yes, they do. That was the one time he did the inside move, and they got him. So he picked himself off. Did not use that move until right now at the right time. And they knew it was deep in the count. They didn't pay attention to him, so it was set up perfectly.
Lifted high and foul and out of play again. for Kipnis on the year. That's the third time he's been caught stealing.
Well, you see, that's the chance you take when you're trying to steal off a left-hander. It's easier to steal third than it is second.
Down the line and hooking foul.
Boy, he got himself a fastball, and Malone made a mistake, and he was a little too quick on it. They want to go in. He doesn't get it there. But Cabrera hit it well, just out in front. Well, you know what's going to follow that when you get, when you throw your fastball, it was about 88 miles an hour, and that hitter pulls it foul, and you made a mistake with it. You know what you're coming back with when he hits it that good. It's got to be the changeup because you're hoping he's going to be out in front, and he was lucky to get a piece of it.
This will be the ninth pitch of the at-bat for Asdrubal. And he reaches out, punches it toward left center field, and a nice running catch by Seth Smith for out number 2. Let's send it back right now to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pulaski.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. Kansas City and the Baltimore Orioles tonight at Camden Yards. The O's out to an early lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Matt Wieters with a 2 RBI double. It's 3-1 now. They're in the bottom of the third inning. The O's lead the Royals tonight. Matt?
All right. Thanks, Al. Nick Swisher takes inside ball 1. Swisher lined out to short, hit it right on the button his first time up, but right at Jed Lowry. That'll even the count of 1-1. Off-speed pitch drops in. And now Tommy Malone gets ahead in the count. So he has been able to get around 2 leadoff doubles in the back-to-back innings.
It's more fun facing a guy that throws 95, 96. It's fastball, and you should get a fastball to hit than a guy that really knows how to pitch with the breaking stuff and just teases you with the fastball. As a hitter, it drives you nuts, and that's what it does. It disrupts your timing.
Missed inside with that fastball and a full count.
There's the teaser.
Here's the payoff pitch. And a hard ground ball into left field, a base hit for Nick Swisher.
Good at bat.
So he'll keep the inning alive with 2 down here in the 4th.
Good at bat. So Swisher comes in there, got a breaking ball, finds the hole between short and third on the full count. So the third hit for the Indians, second in the inning, but there are 2 outs, but it does bring Mark Reynolds to the plate.
The man Jason Giambi and others refer to as Mega Mark, because when he hits them, they are hit. Foul back out of play.
I want to send a quick birthday wish to one of my young buddies, Joe Horniak. Joey, happy birthday, pal.
The Indians, with their power display last night, certainly caught the attention of A's manager Bob Melvin. He said after the game, well, we would have preferred to catch them a little earlier in the season. Reynolds pops it up.
That's going to get in the seat.
Back out of
Well,
play.
yeah, last night it was the 4th time that the Indians have hit at least 4 home runs in a ball game, and no other team has done that. You've got, the Braves and I think the Yankees that have done it 3 times.
Melvin said, quote, their lineup looks much better than it did last year across the board. They just look like a different team and certainly a good team.
Well, and that's after game 1. He's got 3 more to go in this series, but right now Malone's doing a good job of keeping those guys.
Well, and remember, last year, Bob Melvin's A's beat the Indians 8
out of
straight 10 times to
the
finish
Indians
the
won
year.
the first 2, and they win the last 8.
So when he says it looks like a different team, you understand where he's coming from. A's shut out the Indians 3 straight times last year. The 1-2. Reynolds a ground ball between third and short. Donaldson has it, goes to second for the inning-ending force. 4 complete, no score. The wireless receiver only from AT UVerse. Rethink possible. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Panini's with 19 locations in Northeast Ohio. No score, 5th inning. Good old-fashioned pitchers duel here tonight. Brandon Moss leading off for Oakland. Takes down and in ball 1. Moss has hit .417 on the road this year for Oakland, but he's well under 200 at home.
The road warrior.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that Coliseum it can be a tough place to hit. Nice in day games, better in day games, I should say. Sometimes you get that air at night, and it doesn't carry a whole lot there.
The 1-1, a little bit high. Brandon Moss, originally an 8th-round pick of the Red Sox back in 2002. Then he was dealt to Pittsburgh in that 3-team trade that sent Jason Bay to the Red Sox. Deep center field. Stubbs on the dead sprint, runs it down like a routine fly ball. Man, can that guy fly.
He outran it. He had a tremendous jump. He ran a very good route. Direct path to the baseball. And watch the jump. And, I mean, this ball was smoke. Boom, he turned, right path, right in line. Beautiful jump. He made it look easy. It's not that easy, but it's a very nice play.
You can see the look on Brandon Moss's face, like I hit that ball too hard for that to be an out.
Yeah, that it does. When you get a ball like that and you know you hit it well and it turns into an out, you're a little dejected. You don't feel good about that at bat, and you should.
Josh Donaldson had a heck of it at bat his first time up. He really battled McAllister deep into the count, and then he hit a little pop to shallow right field. It was dropping in a hurry, and Jason Kipnis went out and made a terrific running catch. A's only have the 1 hit. Eric Sogard's infield single in the 3rd. That's hit hard on the ground to short. Cabrera stays right with it. And throws him out, 2 down. Here's our Lowe's never stop improving note. Ubaldo Jimenez, in his last 2 starts, has been some kind of improvement.
You know, and hopefully he can continue that, you know, every time out. 5 2/3 innings. You like to see him get more, but he was very good. Never stop improving.
Now Derek Norris fly to left, his only time up. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. And that breaking ball kind of cut under it. 1-1 to count. Norris, who came along with Tommy Malone in that trade for Gio Gonzalez just 2 years ago. Actually, the trade was consummated just before the start of last year. It was the off season of 2011. Now the 1-2 from McAllister.
Oof.
Ripped up the middle and into center field.
That ball was hit hard.
Well, all 3 balls in this inning have all been hit on the screws, but only one of them has been a hit.
This one, look at this. I mean, that's the 4-seamer that has movement on it. Hit over the head of McAllister. He misses it, and it goes by Kipnis in a hurry. That was by him before he could get up there.
So Eric Sogard, who had the first hit of the night for Oakland back in the 3rd inning, an infield hit at that. The only other hit belongs to Norris, who's at first base now. Another hard hit ball, backhanded by Kipnis. He throws him out, and the inning is over. Middle of the 5th, still no score. Beautiful night once again here at the ball yard. No score. Indians and A's locked in a duel. Bottom of the fifth. Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn, Mike Aviles coming up for the Indians.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
You talk about a pitcher's duel. That's a good duel right there. He's going tag team effort.
There's as much on the outside as there is on the inside. But boy, that tastes good, doesn't it?
Carlos Santana will lead it off for the Tribe here. Popped up on the infield his first time up.
That looked pretty good there, didn't it?
Santana taking a strike. Foul tipped. Nothing into the count.
You know, the approach I'm thinking after watching this guy go through the lineup now for the second time is you almost have to try and stay back to shoot him the other way. And it's tough. But the show pitch is his fastball. And usually it's going to be inside to the good right-handers. You know, he has missed a couple of times. And, you know, a couple of balls have been hit on the nose. Swisher hit one at the shortstop. But he doesn't give you much to hit. So you try and take that best pitch away, his changeup. You could even, well, I know a lot of guys don't do this anymore, but move up in the box and you know, force him to throw more fastballs.
He's at 70 pitches, 41 have been strikes. And Santana tries to beat it into the hole.
That's a better approach.
What a play by the second baseman Sogard, but his throw is way off the mark, and Carlos is going to be able to go into second base.
That'll probably be a hit and an error, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But that's the better approach. You see what he did? He just went that way with a base hit. Moss, it deflected off his glove. He made a nice job of catching the ball and trying to make the throw to first base, but it's wide because Malone has to cover first, and he couldn't lead him. But there's the approach. Go the other way. Here's off the glove of Moss. On the backhand side, Sogard makes the bare hand play, but wide throw, so he's going to go base hit and an error, I believe.
It's the second.
Two errors?
It's the third straight inning. The Indians have had their leadoff man at second base now.
Okay. This one with two errors. Okay.
Ryan Rayburn. So an error on Moss on the fielding.
Yeah,
mistake.
And then one on the throw, right.
Okay.
I would think so. Yes.
I didn't know if you just meant a two-base error.
E3, E2 on the throw, or E4 on the throw.
All righty. Ryan Rayburn, a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He doubled off the wall and left. His first time up. Bounce to short. One away. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. All the latest off-season NBA buzz. Find out why 3 great athletes are headed to Middletown, Ohio. And Ohio is well represented in the 2013 College Football Hall of Fame class. Complete coverage of today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Mike Aviles bounced to short his first time up.
Tell you what, Malone's doing a terrific job. You can sit back and say, boy, the hitters, come on, just hit one to the other. It's not that easy. This guy's doing a great job pitching. There it is.
That's a base hit. But Santana had to hold up because he wasn't sure if Smith was going to get there to make the catch, so he'll have to stop at third, but he is at third with only 1 out.
Yeah, he wasn't going to score anyway, even if he got a good jump, because he doesn't run fast enough. That ball off the end of the bat by Aviles, and, you know, he started and hesitated, and you have to make sure the ball's going to drop. You can't get, thrown out into a double play here. So, all right, he realizes it's going to drop right there. Hold up. We're going to give Gomes a chance now.
He had a chance in the third inning, but he bounced out to third base. And again, this is an opportunity here where, okay, he saw him once. He knows what he's trying to do. He's talked to enough hitters in that dugout, you would think.
Well, you go up there once, you know what the changeup's like. This time you come around, you may want to sit on that changeup. Instead of thinking about what you're going to do with it, just sit for that pitch. Just look for it. Take his fastball.
And a drive to center. Cespedes racing back, still going back. Makes the over-the-shoulder catch right in front of the wall in center field. Santana tags and scores. And the Indians have a 1-0 lead on the fourth RBI this year by Yan Gomes, who gave it a ride to deep center field.
And he hit the changeup. Good at-bat. Gomes made the adjustment. He went up there, got an 82-mile-an-hour changeup, and smoked it to center field to 400 feet. And now the errors, they make them pay. They couldn't make them pay with the leadoff doubles. But with the error, there you'll see Cespedes make the catch. But Santana can come score. The Indians take a 1-0 lead. Very nicely done.
Does his job indeed now. Drew Stubbs with a runner at first and 2 down.
Oh, that almost looked like a balk move, really. But he got
He's safe. He missed him.
Yeah, they saying he missed him.
Paul Nauert, the second base umpire, says he missed him. And so Aviles is safe. Here comes Bob Melvin.
We talked about this a couple of days ago with the Cabrera stealing third base the other day. They never touched him, and he's saying he touched him, and he did.
Bob Melvin, spits flying out of his mouth, not on purpose, mind you, but you could see Paul Nauert kind of back away. And he is really animated. Boy, poor Paul Nauert, he's wiping off his arm.
Aviles was a dead duck. And, I mean, he was picked off. He thought he was going, he wasn't stealing. I'll tell you what, it almost looks like he's leaning the plate. So now let's see if they say he steps out of the baseline. He's in on the grass, wasn't he? They're saying no tag, but he's saying he's out of the baseline. There you go. That was his argument.
Well, we had a similar play, it was on this same homestand, wasn't
stealing
it?
third. He brought that right hand back.
No. Remember the play at second base where Francona went out to argue?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Out of the baseline.
Yeah. That was John Hirschbeck, who was the umpire in that situation. Aviles gets his first stolen base of the year, and he is in scoring position. Stubbs sends one in the air to right. And Taylor will make the catch. Yan Gomes comes through with a sac fly, and the Indians have a 1-0 lead through 5. Zach McAllister given that lead on the sac fly by Jan Gomes. Michael Taylor bounced into a double play his first time up. Pops this one in the air.
You gotta love that first pitch. 1 out.
Drew Stubbs gallops under it. 1 away. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Zach McAllister has been dynamite. He has just 1 strikeout tonight, but he's had him hitting his pitches. He had a double play turn behind him in the 3rd. And the only run of the game, Jan Gomes with a sac fly, a good piece of situational hitting.
And the error got it started. They couldn't capitalize on their 2 doubles, leadoff doubles, but they did it when they had the errors. Extra out in the inning, they capitalized.
John Jaso, 0 for 2 here in the ball game. Jaso, a catcher by trade. And when he has caught, in the 19 games that he has caught, he's hit .302. In the 7 games he's DH'd, he's hit .105.
Saying he likes to be involved in every pitch, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's not easy for some younger players to DH.
Jaso, formerly with Tampa Bay, and you know he's a Joe Madden type guy, because I was reading a story about him on MLB.com, and he said if he wasn't in baseball, he'd be teaching advanced mathematics in high school.
Well, good for him.
I think Joe Madden could be teaching
That's
advanced.
Why he's too smart to DH. He's got to catch.
Too much time to think.
Yeah, right.
It's this one hard, and it's right up the middle for a base hit. Just the 3rd hit tonight for Oakland.
Yeah, all singles. Well, the Indians have lowered prices on your favorite ballpark fare here at Progressive Field. You can get a $4 12-ounce domestic beer and a $3 Sugardale hot dog at every game. Log on to Indians.com to get your tickets.
One on, one out for Seth Smith, who is 0 for 2. He has grounded out, flied out.
Well, this has been the best shape that Zach's been in a while as far as this part of the ball game, pitch count. He's mixed his pitches tonight. He's thrown more off-speed pitches tonight, which I like.
Caught the outside corner with that one, and it's 0-2.
This is the time when you're going through a lineup for the 3rd time, you have to make some changes. You know, you've got to prove to these hitters that, okay, I'm going to come back and will double up with a breaking ball, or I will go in here. You establish that fastball early. You can go to some off-speed pitches later.
Now the 1-2. Slap foul out of play.
Got him.
Swung on and foul tipped into the glove of Jan Gomes, 2 away. Second strikeout for Zach.
Yeah, only 2 strikeouts, but they wanted that comeback fastball. That one, they wanted it inside, and it ran all the way to the outside part of the plate. And believe it or not, that is a four-seam fastball for McAllister, but that ball has some run to it. But he did get a piece of it, fouled it into the glove, so it's out number 2. This is the man you want to get right here. Nice, get me over curveball.
Yeah, that off-speed pitch has worked well for him.
And you see what hitters do. They take it. You know, they're not going to swing. They're not up there. They're looking first pitch fastball to take to get after it. You prove you can throw that curveball for strike one. They're going to take it more times than not because they don't really have a book on you.
That fastball hit on the ground to Jason Kipnis.
Zach.
He gobbles it up, throws him out. And another strong inning of shutout baseball for Zach McAllister. 1-0 Cleveland. Indians lead it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And for the Tribe, Jason Kipnis has Drupal Cabrera and Nick Swisher coming up here. Kipnis doubled to left his last time up.
This has been a well-pitched ball game by both guys. Tommy Malone for the A's, Zach McAllister for the Indians. Nice pitcher's duel. Both throwing strikes. And we told you about the last 3 starts for this guy. They have failed to score for him, really. They've only scored 3 runs in his last 3 starts. That's why he is 0-3. It's not because of the way he pitched. They got him 22 runs his first 3 starts. He was 3-0. And sometimes that always happens to a pitcher. Nice approach.
Jason Kipnis lines one into left field, his second hit of the night. That gives him 10 hits on the homestand, and the Indians had their leadoff man aboard for the 4th straight inning.
Kipnis looks like a different man now, doesn't he?
Well, it just looks like, for whatever reason, the weight of the world is off his shoulders.
He's confident now. He's not trying to do too much. He looks much more relaxed. He's hitting the ball where it's pitched. So, yeah, he is settling in. He's swinging it well.
Now is Drupal Cabrera 0 for 2. And he chased one up out of the strike zone.
Yeah, the show fastball he did. Well, we got to see the move of Malone last inning, and he has a good one. He picked Aviles off, and he ended up being safe, but you can see he can he'll be tough to run on.
Down on the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. in tight. And the count is now 2-1. The Indians began the night 3.5 back in the AL Central. Tigers were rained out already in Washington against the Nationals this evening. And Kansas City, second place team in the division, they trail Baltimore 3-1 in the 6th. Minnesota leads Boston 1-0 in the 5th at Fenway. Two one, up high with it, and he's fallen behind 3 balls and a strike. Nick Swisher waiting on deck. Brad Mills ran through a sequence of signs as Cabrera gave him a long look. Kipnis now takes his lead at first, where he is held by Brandon Moss. And on the 3-1 pitch, Cabrera pops it in the air to left. Smith will make the catch. And that is out number 1.
Well, the first 10,000 fans will get a Block C rally cap courtesy of Strickland's Frozen Custard when the Indians take on the Mariners. That'll be Saturday, May 18th. So get your tickets early. You log on to Indians.com, and there's your rally cap. Seattle Mariners, May 18th.
All right, here's Nick Swisher, singled his last time up. Says his shoulder feels amazing now. And he said that being able to take the handful of days off did that shoulder wonders. And he said, it's a lot easier to do it when the guys are playing well like that. And he said, if they're not, then you're pressing yourself maybe to get back before you're ready, and then you just do more harm than good.
Well, they've been great at that all year long. That's 9 straight first pitch strikes for Malone now. His last 9.
In tight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's one thing to play in pain, but when you're at the start of a season, you're 30 games into the year, you certainly can't push and fight your way through it, because it could be a long year. You could end up hurting yourself and really extending it. Now, a lot of times when you err to the side of the caution.
He's in the hole, 1-2. And Swisher did well just to get a little bit of that. Hey, tune in after Indians Live following the game for Chuck's Last Call. Chuck Galletti will take your calls on tonight's game, and he'll have the latest on what's going on. Chuck's Last Call tonight after Indians Live on Sports Time Ohio. One-two pitch. And Swisher able to lay off. Back to even in the count. Hey, one thing that you have to admire about Malone is he stays with his plan. I mean, no matter what the situation has been here tonight, and he's had to make tough pitches because it's a tight game all the way through. But you're right, Rick. He won't give in. He won't just give you that fastball.
He's that type of pitcher. This is his 3rd start against the Indians in his career, both of them coming last year. He's 1-0, but he pitches. I mean, he knows what he is. He comes at you. He never looks flustered. He never, you talk about having no heartbeat or anything. Yeah. He pitches better when he gets guys on base, because that's when he really goes, to the off-speed stuff. Shows you the fastball.
Up high with it.
There's the show pitch. Now you get to a 3-2 pitch and see if he comes back with his best pitch, the changeup.
Mark Reynolds waiting on deck. Kipnis at first. Let's see if he's moving on the 3-2.
I don't know.
Tough
about
guy
that.
to get a move on, though.
Yeah, it is.
He's holding, and Swisher high in the air to center field. Cespedes has it, 2 down. Well, Mark Reynolds 0 for 2 tonight, but, you know, he's hitting .375 with runners in scoring position this year, in addition to all the home runs he's hit. Katie with him, what's the key to his success with guys on base?
Well, today, Mark told me that he's a different guy. When he steps up to the plate and nobody's on base, he says he's looking to go deep. So he's either going to punch out or he's going to come up with that home run. But when he steps up there and there are guys on base, he said for some reason this year he's more locked in. He's taking what the pitcher's giving him and using the whole field. Interestingly, Matt, he told me RBI, the only stat he focuses on because it's the only number that never goes down.
He's absolutely right.
It's funny because you and I were talking with Albert Bell, and that's the one thing he always said.
Yeah,
batting average goes up and down, but RBIs can only go up.
That's right. And the approach you have when you get guys on base, you take what the pitcher gives you, and he's done that this year. And in turn, his average will go up, his RBIs go up.
Quickly, the count is 0-2. Mark says, quote, I think I'm growing up as a hitter, hopefully figuring stuff out. I don't see why I can't hit for a higher average. It's a matter of knowing I have the right approach rather than hoping I do.
He also has the right type of hitters around him as well, that they can do the same thing. He's not the only guy that has to go deep, where when he was in Arizona, he'd have to hit 40 home runs and provide a lot of the offense. He can hit his 30 home runs and drive in another 20 or 30 from getting base hits somewhere else because guys are always on base in front of him. He can take that different approach. And maturity.
I won't speak for him, so I'll just say it like this. If I was Mark Reynolds, I'd be playing a little bit with a chip on my shoulder this year because Baltimore didn't even offer him a chance to come back. They just said, thanks, good luck. You know, I mean,
I think he is playing with a chip on his shoulder.
I just think, say, hey, you didn't even give him no offer, nothing, zip, nada, see ya, okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having to go out and prove something.
Nope,
not at all. That's what it's built on, baby.
Slow chopper up the line, foul.
Go out and prove it. Let's see it.
Well, and as Terry Francona said, hopefully the good start leads to a good year.
Well, I don't see why it won't. I really don't. It is a long year and a lot goes up, and he's going to have his down times. But you know what? It's nice to get off to a good start, to get in a good frame of mind. You're with a new ball club. He's fit in beautifully here.
Now, he said it's been a seamless transition for him because of the teammates that he has.
Right, and I mean, that's the whole picture right there. It's all about your teammates. So many new faces here. And I said this team, it's going to take a while for them to get to know each other and develop chemistry. They got off to a good start, but they're only going to get better. And they're a lot of fun to watch right now.
2-2 pitch. Outside a full
they're
count.
Hitting home runs and things like that. They won't live and die on it, but they're still fun, and they're going to get better with each other.
But you're right. You talk about chemistry, spring training. They did everything they could do to build that chemistry. The videos, the having fun, doing all that. But you got to play, you got to produce. And, having Rayburn have the start he's had and Avila's pitching in, all those guys, those extra guys doing it, this is what builds chemistry.
Well, and they built it very well over the first month, in my opinion.
Runner goes, foul back.
Playing short almost every night here with somebody going down and maybe not on the DL, but missing a few games. Someone steps in, they win, they do this. And they had a tough schedule coming out of spring training.
Yep. Everybody's had to pull their weight, which I think helps because you you get put to the fire right away. Eighth pitch of the at-bat. Runner goes, and Reynolds goes down swinging. 6 complete. It remains Cleveland 1, Oakland nothing.
Well, welcome back to Progressive Field. You see the cloudy skies of downtown Cleveland as we look in from a view of from our Panini cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill.
Thought you called it the banana camera for a second.
I was looking up at the clouds. I haven't seen them for a while.
It has been a terrific homestand weather-wise, and it's going to continue to be that way. Yoenis Cespedes takes a strike.
Yeah, good. 2 games left with Oakland tomorrow night, and then we'll have the 12 o'clock on Thursday before we head out to Detroit for the weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun early season matchup. Almost took off on him on the 0-2 pitch. Cespedes popped up on the infield in the second, bounced into a fielder's choice with a runner aboard to end the 4th inning. Chop foul.
It's that off-speed pitch again he's working on. Good downward movement.
Now the 1-2. Again, it took off on him. Maybe trying to hump up for a little extra. Took a little something off, popped him up, foul, out of play. Boy, that was almost a scary play over there. Yan Gomes on the dead run got to the on-deck circle. And, you know, you've got the donut and you've got the little
pine tar rag.
With the pine tar. And it looked like he stepped awkwardly and almost lost his footing there. He stepped on something, rolling ankle real easy over there.
Well, you know, when you're going over there, the on-deck guy gets out of the way. He's not going to pick anything up.
Two. High pop. This should be playable. Jason Kipnis on the dead run. Gives way to Santana, who's there to grab it. 1 away. Well, a scary moment down in St. Petersburg, Florida tonight. And a game between the Rays and the Jays. Al Pawlowski has the latest.
Matt, scary indeed. J.A. Happ on the hill for Toronto makes the pitch to Desmond Jennings, and it comes right back at him. It hits him in the head. He was carted off the field, taken to a local hospital. No word yet on his condition, but we wish the best for J.A. Happ. 4-1 the score, Tampa, 4th inning.
No, we certainly send nothing but our best to J. Happ. That's a frightening situation right there.
Yes, man, it is. It's not fun to be around. We've witnessed it before.
Brandon Moss 0 for 2. Swung on and missed. Good change of
I'll
pace.
tell you what, he's really done a great job tonight changing speeds. Much more than I've seen from Zach McAllister before. He's been terrific.
Swung on and missed. He ran the fastball upstairs and by him. 3rd strikeout for McAllister. 2 down in the inning.
Boy, and that shows you when they have to look off speed, boy, he's got enough on the heater to get it by you. And look at the run on that 4-seam fastball. See, what he did to Cespedes, you're right, he overthrew a couple and tried to get it by him upstairs, and he couldn't even offer at it. But what a good job. 9-0-2, 1-2 counts for McAllister tonight.
And a strike over the outside corner to Josh Donaldson, who is 0 for 2. Blew it right by him. McAllister feeling it here in the 7th inning. Crowd appreciative of the effort from McAllister here tonight. The 2-strike pitch in the dirt. Donaldson wouldn't chase. Now McAllister with a 1-2. Another one in the dirt. And once again, Donaldson won't go after it, so the count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What an impressive start tonight for Zach McAllister.
Yes, it is. Well, he won a season-high 7 innings in his last start against Philly, but this is a totally different ball game tonight than it was the other night.
Yeah. Every pitch has been huge, and this one, the way Tommy Malone has pitched on the other side. Both guys bringing their A game tonight. McAllister with a 2-2. Ripped into right field, a base hit by Donaldson. 4th hit allowed by McAllister, and a 2-out base runner now for Oakland.
Well, Donaldson did a nice job with 2 strikes. Take it the other way. That was a fastball in. Takes his base hit, goes the other way, so a 2-out single. Give Norris a chance. Norris hit the ball on the nose the last time. Line drive right back up the middle for a base hit. One of the 4 hits tonight.
With 2 down, McAllister delivers. And Derek Norris looks at a strike. Well, Arch, 64 out of 96 pitches strikes from McAllister tonight, so he's been ahead. He's attacked. We've seen the evolutionary pitch that he's worked on tonight a number of times.
Well, I've never seen him mix it up as well as he's doing it tonight. Now, I don't know if Gomes has a lot to do with it, but they've been on the same page. They've really starting guys off, getting me over curveballs, spotting his fastball, a lot of first pitch strikes, ahead in the count. Things you have to do as a starting pitcher to be successful, and that's why he's pitched a gem tonight.
2 down, 0-2 pitch. Swung out and missed. He got him. Oh, Zach McAllister, 7 shutout innings tonight. The Indians with a 1-0 lead. And it's time now for the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. Lead as we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. For the Tribe, Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn, and Mike Aviles. Tommy Malone, just over 100 pitches going into the
Look at this.
Bottom of the seventh.
This has been a great matchup, folks. I'll tell you. Malone's got more pitches. He's got an inning to go, though. McAllister, he was 0-2 on every hitter last inning.
Well, the Indians' bullpen is still quiet. I wouldn't be surprised if he, like Tommy Malone, he goes back out there. I mean,
well, it would be nice to get him one more run.
One hop smash to second, and Santana retired for out number one. It was Santana who reached on an error and then went to second on a second error and then came around to score the only run of this game in the fifth inning. Ryan Rayburn, he doubled in the third, grounded out his last time up. Breaking ball in for a strike. Ripped foul. That ball was hit so hard. There weren't too many people really anxious to get in front of that one.
No.
They were all diving and getting out of the way.
They're smart.
Matt Harvey of the Mets took a perfect game into the seventh inning. And with 2 outs in the seventh, Alex Rios, so the White Sox broke it up. Got him looking. Man, that's the 5th strikeout tonight for Tommy Malone. 2 down here in the 7th inning. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. Zach McAllister has been terrific tonight.
Boy, he certainly has. Mixed his pitches well. Has had hitters swinging through it. Off-speed pitches tonight. Look at that. I mean, when you walk off after the 7th inning with that smile, I'm telling you, those two are locked in, Gomes and McAllister. They have done a nice job together tonight.
By the way, in that game tonight, you talk about McAllister, how well he and Malone have pitched against each other tonight in a 1-0 game. That game I was just talking about where the kid from the Mets had the perfect game.
Right.
It's zip in the 7th inning.
Wow.
You know, the Mets only have 4 hits themselves. Now Aviles pops one in the air. Shallow right field. Going to be trouble. Long run. Nobody's going to get there. Or do they? Yes. What a catch by Taylor. He reached down and took a hit away from Mike Aviles. And the Indians go in order in the 7th. We'll head to the 8th. 1-0 Tribe. authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Zach McAllister walked off the mound with a big smile on his face when he ended the top half of the seventh with a strikeout. He's back out here now in the eighth inning, still a 1-0 lead. Double barrel action in the Tribe bullpen. He'll face Eric Sogard to start, the number 8 hitter. Then the number 9 hitter, Michael Taylor, is next. And then we'll flip it to the top of the order. Grounded up the middle. Kipnis is there. He's got it. Throws. Got him. One away.
Well, you see, they have to be aggressive up there because, you know, he was 0-2 on every hitter last inning.
Let's get the answer to the AT&T trivia question. Pitcher with the most 10 strikeout games in the 1950s.
How about the old left-hander? He used to do the radio here, and our dear friend, Herbie Score. 26. How about that?
What was his number? 27. I was going to say it was 20-something. I couldn't remember. 27. Yeah. Almost matched his number. 2-7, 2-8.
2-8er.
Michael Taylor with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Upstairs with it. High pop into foul territory. Kipnis slides, can't get to it. He had to go into his slide to avoid running through the stands over there down the right side. He was on a dead sprint and running out of room in a hurry.
Well, good hustle. You know, he had so far to go to get that ball, and you got to stop. Good hustle. You're sliding on that track, and that doesn't feel good.
Just a little rubber burn. Taylor stays alive. Check this swing.
Oh, in his own dugout. Heads up, boys.
That sent him scattering. Two delivery, and it's in the dirt. Full count. Leadoff man John Jaso waiting on deck. And the payoff pitch is popped in the air. Shallow center, long run, but Kipnis is there. He's got it. And there are 2 gone here in the 8th.
Well, if you want to catch 2 games for the price of 1, come on out Monday when the Tribe will take on the New York Yankees. It'll be a traditional doubleheader. The first game will start at 12:05. That's from the rainouts we had earlier on our first homestand this year. So 1 ticket, good for both games. That'll be a nice day.
John Jaso 1 for 3 on the night, taking a called strike. Got him. Same location. I mean, just painted the outside corner right to the glove.
Big Zach tonight. 73 strikes out of 108 pitches.
Now the 2-strike pitch. Woo, just a little bit outside.
Attaboy. Threw a dart to the outside corner. It's a good 0-2 pitch. Very good.
Now the 1-2. Might have overthrown that time. trying to get that breaking ball, and or maybe that was that
the new
split change. Two pitch. Fastball hit in the hole between first and second for a base hit by Jaso, who is 2 for 4 now. And now Terry Francona is going to take the walk to the mound. He's probably already made his mind up, and there it is.
I'll tell you what, though, this longest start this year, he improved 7 2/3. What a great outing tonight.
Really was, and especially given the kind of game it was. Zach McAllister, a standing O from the crowd here at Progressive Field. Time now for today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen as McAllister, 7 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. A tip of the cap. And coming on now for the Indians will be the left-hander Rich Hill when we come back. Reds Tire Express and Total Car Care. Al and Jason will have the highlights back in the studio. Rick and I will have some final thoughts from here at the ballpark, and Katie will have reaction from the clubhouse. It's all coming up on Indians Live. Rich Hill, the left-hander, on for the Tribe. 10th appearance of the year. 2.84 ERA. And they're going to go to their bench. It's going to be Luke Montz who will pinch hit for Seth Smith. Smith was 0 for 3 tonight.
Montz pinch hit last night in the ball game, and pinch hitters, they were 0 for 2 last night, but they have pinch hit 31 times this year, so they are 2 for 31. Oakland is. They use them, and you know, you switch it. You want the right-hander up there.
A little bit high with that pitch. And it's 2-0. Switch hitter Jed Lowry waiting on deck. Joe Smith ready in the Tribe bullpen. Slowly chopped to short. Cabrera will go to first. And the inning is over. So Rich Hill comes on to get the pinch hitter Luke Montz. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 1-0 Cleveland. Well, Oakland now makes today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. And Pat Neshek, right-hander, coming on in relief of Tommy Malone, who went 7 innings.
Yeah, another game that Malone pitched that they didn't score. So that's 3 runs in his last 4 starts that Oakland has given him. And he pitched a dandy tonight. You got Taylor going to left, Montz at first base, and Moss out in right field. There are the changes defensively.
Jan Gomes, who drove in the only run of this game with a sac fly back in the 5th inning. And he hit that ball a long way to deep straightaway center field. They appeal. He did not go. Chris Perez now getting loose in the Tribe bullpen. Holmes shoots it. Look out below.
Well, that's okay with a guy going and throwing from that arm angle. Why not take him the other way? He waited about as long as you possibly could. There's Perez getting loose.
Down the right field line, Moss on the move, makes the catch. Tonight's box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. And we've talked about it all night long. This has been a pitcher's game. The Indians had 2 straight doubles, 3rd and 4th inning to lead off. And then in the 5th, their leadoff man got to second base via error. And that was when they scored their only run. So it's an unearned run on the score sheet for Tommy Malone. But they got him home with a good job of situational hitting by Jan Gomes. Stubbs trying to bunt his way aboard. Jabbed at it. Came up empty. You know, it's interesting when you watch Neshek, where he actually delivers the ball. It's pretty much a normal sidearm slot, but it's all that herky-jerky movement before he gets to that probably throws you off as a hitter.
The deception, the arms, the legs, the body.
That was a good pitch. That one, bottom fell out of it.
Yeah, it may take you a few pitches just to realize where it's actually coming from. By that time, you're down in the count and you're thinking, come on.
Who was that? Chad Brad? Was it Chad Bradford that used to pitch for Oakland and threw it almost off to scrape his knuckles on the mound?
That's correct.
I remember it was Ryan Ludwig who got a game-winning hit off of him one time, and he said the key was trying to pick up where the ball's coming from. He said you got to find that release point off of his hand, and he said if you focus right there, you got a chance to hit it, and obviously he did and came up with a game winner. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jason Kipnis having a pretty good night at the plate with a double and a base hit. He's got 10 hits on the homestand, 7 ribbies, couple of homers. He's starting to really heat up.
Yes, he is.
Well, in Oakland, they know that. They're going to their left-hander to match up. Oh, the Indians with a 1-0 lead as we go here in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs. And Jason Kipnis coming up to face Jerry Blevins. Blevins, 17th appearance. The left-hander 2-0, an ERA of 2. He has struck out 19 and only walked 1 in his 18 innings.
Boy, he has done a nice job, hasn't he? And here to match up with Kipnis, trying to get the final out of the 8th inning.
Misses up high for ball 1. Upstairs 2-0. Jerry Blevins in his 7th major league season. Not bad for a guy who walked on to the University of Dayton's baseball team.
How about that, huh?
Then the Cubs made him a 17th round pick back in 07. There's a fly ball, deep left center, backpedaling and making the catch is Michael Taylor. 1-2-3 go the Indians. We go to the 9th, 1-0 Tribe. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass. Always in moderation. Chris Perez will come on here to face Jed Lowry, Yoenis Cespedes, and Brandon Moss. Now, Perez's last save opportunity was April 22nd.
Yeah, it's been one of those years where it's been tough. They've won big, they've lost big, and they haven't really had a chance to match it up. It's a 1-0 ball game, and this has been a dandy, and it's up to Chris Perez as Brantley goes into left field.
Jed Lowry 0 for 2 with a walk. And a strike. Fastball over the outside corner. Whew. Comes back with a slider, and it's quickly 0-2. Line to first, right at Santana, out number 1. Ooh, a bullet. And right into the mitt of Santana.
Well, that's the old atom ball. You see, he's playing the line, take away the doubles. So that's going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Right into his tracks. He just fell on it.
Smothered it.
Yeah, he did. Out number 1.
Now, Yoenis Cespedes, who is 0 for 3 on the night. Stay tuned for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. It comes your way right after the ball game. The highlights, analysis, interviews, and a whole lot more. Straight ahead. The 0-1 hit right up the middle, and Cespedes is aboard with 1 away. So 1 for 4 on the night for Cespedes. That's the 6th hit in the game for Oakland.
Well, look at that's a fastball down and away. He took a peek at the first fastball, maybe from where the arm slot Perez is throwing from, and he smoked a low heater.
He got down.
That was away.
It.
Yes, he did.
Throw to first, Cespedes back. He does not have a stolen base. Moss out of play to the left.
I was watching a game earlier with Cespedes. You say he doesn't have a stolen base. He was hit by the Angels in one game, ended up stealing second, and he slid past the bag, and they kept the tag on him. So, you don't get credit because he didn't occupy the base, but he did steal it in the 9th inning.
He had it stolen, in other words.
Yes, he did.
Well, he's got good speed. He's a center fielder. That ball almost hit Moss. And a count 1-1.
Well, it came awfully close going in there on that back leg. It almost looked like it did hit him. It looked like it hit him to me.
With the shift on, 3 on the right side of the infield. Way up and away. 2 balls and a strike. And Perez wants a new baseball. The shift is it's always applied on hitters who really just don't manipulate the bat that well. Guys who are just pull hitters. Cespedes takes off, and it's popped back out of play. Well, so the trick is making sure your pitchers continue to pitch them normally and not
hit their spots.
Yeah, you don't want to give a guy a pitch that he can just punch the other way.
Well, you always pitch into the strength of your defense.
Right.
And
but a lot of times pitchers are averse to pitching in because a guy can jerk it and, maybe do some damage. But now the 2-2. Fouled back. One on, one out in the ninth. A 1-0 Indians lead. Ripped foul. Anxious moments in that Tribe dugout. Clinging to a 1-0 lead here in the ninth. Tying run at first, 2-2 pitch. A throw to first instead, and Cespedes back standing. Cespedes runs, pitches up high, throw down to second. They got him!
Wow.
Oh, a great throw by Yan Gomes. erasing Yoenis Cespedes, and there are 2 down in the ninth.
I'll tell you what, that kid fired a bullet down there right on target. And, I mean, Cabrera was waiting for it. A good pitch to throw, too. It got up and away. There's your second out.
Dynamite throw by Gomes. And now the crowd up on its feet. Just over 9,000 again here tonight. 3-2 pitch, popped up foul, back out of play. 9,474. The third of 4 between these two teams tomorrow night. And it's Justin Masterson tomorrow night against A.J. Griffin. 7 o'clock start. We'll have it for you on Sports Time Ohio. How about that?
Boy, oh boy, and he's right. He's accurate, too.
Payoff pitch. Chop foul, first base side. He's 4 out of 6 and in a part-time role. Derek Norris, the A's catcher, has
had trouble.
1 out of 11.
Yeah. They have had their troubles throwing out base runners, but tell you what, Gomes he drove in the only run for the Indians tonight. He just saved another one right there.
And a big one at that. The 3-2. Swung out and missed. He got him. Chris Perez nails down the save in the 9th inning. And the Indians beat the Oakland A's 1-0. Zach McAllister with his 3rd win of the year. 7 2/3 inning shutout baseball. He was sensational. Rich Hill finished the 8th. Chris Perez gets his 4th save of the year here in the 9th. And as Rick mentioned, Yan Gomes drives in the only run of the night for the Tribe. And he took a potential tying run away here in the top half of this 9th inning. Time now for tonight's key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, let's go back to that 5th inning when the Indians scored. You're going to see Santana leading it off, and Moss on the backhanded play boots it. That's going to be one error, but so is this throw here to allow Santana to get to second base. He gets over to third base on a base hit by Aviles, and then Yan Gomes goes straight away center field on the changeup. That was the only run in the ball game. It was unearned, but it was a beautiful job right there by Gomes, and his last throw, that's pretty as well. And visit your local KeyBank branch for low rates on a home equity or auto loan. Certain conditions apply. See your branch for details.
A 1-0 Indians win over the A's tonight. They've won the first 2 in the series. 8 out of their last 9, 11 out of their last 15. Chris Perez, his 4th save of the year. Back with some final thoughts after this.